Hello guys, welcome back to Bluebean's Not So Daily, exposing my classmates. It's Evan here, and today, I'm going to be exposing Grape Guy. So here's what happened. It started out like a completely normal day. We were sitting in class, wrapping things up before heading to science. Everyone had their Chromebooks with them, because our science teacher, who I'll call Ms. Sushi, was big on projects and online work. We went into the science classroom, and Ms. Sushi wasted no time. She announced that we were going to be doing a group project, write an essay, and make a slideshow to present our findings. It had to be done in groups of 3. At first, she let us think we'd get to choose our own groups, and everyone immediately started eyeing their friends, whispering across the room. But just when people started pairing up, Ms. Sushi said that she'd randomly assign groups. You could hear the groans. When she was done, I found myself with Lemon and Grape Guy. At first, I wasn't too worried. Lemon was pretty reliable, and Grape Guy, well, he had his moments, but I figured we'd be fine. We divided up the work pretty fairly. Lemon and Grape Guy would write the essay, and I'd handle the slideshow. While I was quietly working on my slides, I noticed Grape Guy messing around on his Chromebook instead of writing. Next thing I knew, he had somehow logged on to my account. Before I could stop him, he started typing in all sorts of weird searches. I leaned over and whispered, "Dude, stop." To my surprise, he did. He shut it down and went back to pretending to work. I thought that was the end of it, but, oh, how wrong I was. A few minutes later, Grape Guy came up with an even worse idea. For reasons I still don't fully understand, he decided he wanted to frame me. He started fiddling with his Chromebook in this weird, aggressive way. At first, I thought he was just fidgeting, but then snap, the hinge popped out. I froze. I said, "Bro, what are you doing?" I managed to pop the hinge back in, but then he grabbed a pencil and before I could stop him, he jabbed it right into the screen. The glass cracked and the whole thing went dark. My jaw dropped. Lemon just sat there, wide-eyed, like he couldn't believe what he'd just seen. And then, as if nothing happened, Grape Guy turned to me and said, "You're paying for this." If the teachers believed him, I'd be in serious trouble. Those Chromebooks weren't cheap. Luckily, Lemon wasn't about to let that happen. He immediately raised his hand and blurted out the whole story to Ms. Sushi. She marched over, and let's just say she was not amused. She took one look at the Chromebook, then at Grape Guy, and it was bro was cooked. In the end, Grape Guy was the one who had to pay for the damages. Me and Lemon walked away relieved. His plan really backfired. Anyways, that's all. See ya guys.
Hi, I'm Rose, and this is a story from my childhood. I must have been in 3rd grade at the time, back when the biggest problems in my world were forgotten homework, playground drama, and which jelly cup you got on pizza day. At our school, there was this girl named Selena. She was one of those kids who was always eager to help the teachers and staff. After lunch, while the rest of us bolted outside for recess, Selena would stay behind and wipe down the tables. The lunch ladies adored her for it, and they rewarded her with little treats, usually candy. One afternoon, though, something went wrong. Selena had gone to the bathroom, and for some reason, she set her candy on the counter while she washed her hands. It couldn't have been more than a minute or two, but when she turned back around, it was gone. Just gone. Selena marched straight to our teacher, and that's when things went down. Our teacher, Mrs. Smith, absolutely lost it. She stormed to the front of the room, yelling, "Who took it?" The entire class went dead silent. Everyone was looking at each other but no one confessed. It wasn't long before we learned the truth. The culprit was Chris, one of the bad kids. Apparently, he thought he could get away with it. But when the teacher started glaring around the room like an hawk, Chris began to sweat a lot and went pale. That's when he came up with his brilliant plan. He tried to frame me. I'll never forget it. He started shifting around, inching closer to where my backpack usually sat. His hand slid into my desk like he was going to slide the candy in there. But here's the wild part: I hadn't brought my bag that day. I'd forgotten it at home in the morning rush. If I had remembered it, there's a good chance he would have succeeded, and I would have been the one in trouble. Things only got worse. The teacher decided to call the vice principal. The vice principal marched in. She yelled. She told everyone to open their desks and started checking backpacks one by one. It was literally just a candy bar, not diamonds. A few kids started crying from the stress. Still, the candy wasn't found. That's when she made the decision to pull out the security cameras. She had someone bring up the footage, and within minutes, the mystery was solved. There it was, Crease, sneaking into the bathroom and taking the candy. The punishment, a week-long suspension, for a single piece of candy. The whole class talked about it for days. Some kids thought he deserved it, others thought it was way too harsh. As for me, I just felt lucky. If I'd brought my bag that day, things could have turned out very differently. Looking back, it seems almost ridiculous how serious everyone took it. But at the time, it felt like the kind of incident that would ruin a child's day. Anyways, that's all. See you later, guys.
Greetings, my awesome and beautiful blue stars. I will talk about an incident that happened in social group. This was actually before the summer holidays, but I forgot to make a story about this. So basically, it was our last social group lesson in year 9, also known as 8th grade. Ms. Roberts left a box of candy in front of Theo saying, "Only take the candies, guys." But Theo asked, "Can you print me a timetable?" So she left. Laura reached for another sweet, but Theo quickly stuck his foot out to block her path. She glared at him. Moon suddenly had an idea. "Bluebean, grab a handful." Laura's agreed. "Yeah, just throw some on the table." Theo narrowed his eyes at me saying, "If you take more, I'm going to throw my ruler at you." Laura literally snatched the ruler right out of his hand and flung it to the other side of the classroom. "Bluebean, quick," she shouted. So I got up a handful of sweets and threw them. The sweets landed on the table. Moon and Laura immediately scrambled to grab as many as they could, giggling like it was a treasure hunt. Theo folded his arms and told Laura, "I'm telling on you." Laura yelled, "Bluebean, Theo says he's snitching on you." I slid into the seat next to Theo and looked at him seriously. Well, not really seriously. "Hey, that's not fair. They told me to do it, and if you did tell on me, I'd get in a lot of trouble, and I'd be really upset. Do you want me to be upset?" Theo hesitated. Before he could answer, Laura leaned forward and teased, "Theo, are you still going to tell on her?" Theo let out a long sigh. "Fine, I won't tell." I gently patted his back saying, "Thank you, Theo." And Moon and Laura began giggling, saying stuff like, "Nah, no way." When the teacher came back, we were all dead silent. Honestly, I was shaking in my boots. I actually thought Theo was going to tell on me, but he didn't say a thing. I don't know why, but it kind of reminds me of a time I was like to Laura, "Ugh, this work is so hard," because we didn't know how to do anything. Then Victor gave us the answers. Laura and I have a bit of a laughing problem that we have to be careful with around Victor. Sometimes we just laugh at the slightest thing, and Victor has kind of a low temper, so if we laugh, he usually assumes we're laughing at him and throws some curse words at us, and we don't want that because he's a top student. So every time he approaches us, we just look at each other with our mouths scrunched, and I try to pretend I'm just in a mood. I guess we just don't want a detention for no work. Because Mr. Williams is going to be our biology teacher until I leave school, so I don't want to be in his bad notes. As, so far, I don't have a teacher that hates me. Apart from Mr. Sunshine, I can't even tell if he hates me or not. Sometimes bro threatens me and my mates with a detention, and another day he'll pull me aside asking if I'm feeling all right, just like he does to Laura in geography. If I ever had a problem, "I'm sorry, I'm never telling Mr. Sunshine. He looks like the average Discord predator." Well, that's the end. I hope you enjoyed the video. Remember to smash that like button like always and comment your favorite part of the video. If you haven't already, check out the other videos too. I promise they're awesome. Last but not least, don't forget to subscribe. Peace out, my awesome blue stars. Bye.